So welcome to this YouTube channel. Welcome. So Kendal, how is it going?
Pretty good, thank you. I'm
Great.
guessing it's quite early in the day where you are, but it's nighttime here.
Yeah. It's like very weird that I am in the UK side and you are Japanese side, and like we are switching the country and learning. I am learning English and you learning Japanese, right?
From learning Japanese the way I am by myself, and then with you guys at Japanese Language Factory, I can already tell there's more languages in my future, and I'm very excited.
I'm so happy. It's
quite addictive. Learning a language is
exactly. When you see the progress, like, oh, that's so easy to learn. I want to learn more. I want to learn different languages.
I don't know about easy, but it is rewarding. So you keep getting constant satisfaction, right? Every time you get something, when you do something correctly, you get satisfaction from it. So my name's Kendal. I'm a British artist that has been living in Japan since October 2019, which is about 4 months before the pandemic was a thing here in Japan. And it's still very much a thing here in Japan. In the UK, I've been a self-employed artist for about 10 years, I think. I like to say I'm just a freelance creative person. So I'm basically hireable for creative ideas that you might have that you can't get out of your head, but maybe I can help make them happen. That could be digitally or in a traditional medium. Lately, I really love illustration and especially architecture and just anything I see around Japan. So I just love making things.
Amazing. I'm so enjoying about watching your, the Instagram photos, like you're taking a lot. So you start joining our master course was last year, November?
I think it was 10 weeks ago. I don't think it was November. I think it was the middle of December. 2.5 months. Actually, the speed I was going in the beginning, I probably could be finished with it now, just like it says 2 months, like learn to speak Japanese in 2 months. I can see I'd have finished it, and I am already speaking Japanese with real Japanese people, so it is really, really good. But I've slowed it down because I love the coaches so much, so I just wanted to slow it down to make it last longer.
That's actually happened, like a section 3. No, I don't want to finish. I want to keep going to the group lessons, and I want to
I don't know what I'll do about that. Maybe I'll get to lesson 29 and then just sort of keep that other one in the bank. I don't know. In the beginning, so even the middle of December last year, I found it really difficult to do more than say sentences occasionally in like around Japanese people. Say sentences and just interject with the odd word and make it look like I really knew what was going on. And I sort of did a bit because gestures help you do it, but I couldn't hold a conversation. But in the last 2 weeks, I've had 25-minute conversations with 3 different Japanese people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Chihiro, my coach, I had just a conversation about things we practiced. Another one was on a different kind of app where you just find a Japanese person to chat to, and we just chatted about things that weren't even in the JLF course, so that was really good. And then another one was maybe a waiter that was in a bar on, who knows what night that was now, Wednesday.
Amazing. I remember you actually was saying when I met you, like I said, I'm living, but I don't have confidence. I'm not sure. You have, boyfriend, and you have so much chance to meet Japanese people, but not fully enjoying. So that's why now I can see like your face. It's all different.
It wasn't. So there was a lot of worry, but the thing that was confusing me the most is I'm a confident person and I'm a very able person. I'm happy to start conversations with lots of people. So I could tell it wasn't confidence that was missing. But so your company teaches you to practice the muscle movements that your mouth needs to make to be able to speak a new language. It doesn't matter how many things you read and how many things you know, how many things you write. If your mouth can't make the shapes because you haven't practiced making the shapes, you just can't do it. So I wasn't even lacking confidence. I was just lacking, like you say, training, just lacking training.
I think British and then American English also, it's so different. And it's just different, you know, the tongue and the mouth move differently. What do you think?
Where you rest and hold your tongue for how long, and it's totally different. And I work in Ikaiwa here in Japan, and I've never known loads of Americans before, but I speak to loads of Americans now, have lots of friends that are from America and Australia, South Africa and other places, and it's amazing differences in English. And I don't know if I'm the best person for you to learn English from, because sometimes, well, often enough, I say so many things that the American teachers don't know what I've said.
I know a lot of Americans and also British, and I have taught Japanese to Scottish students also. You know, it's quite, and what I understand is, you know, of course, that depends on what you have the native language, is that the feel differently when you learn Japanese to try to pronounce, because it's very different pronunciation. So that's why I feel English speaker learn how to speak Japanese is quite really hard compared to like a Spanish or maybe Italian people, or like I'm living Greece, so it's like Greek people quite have already good pronunciation when they try to speak Japanese, because the open vowel is the same, like a, I, u, e, o. They have all like you know, the similar pronunciation, but it's a British or Americans or Scottish, they have a very different pronunciation already, you know, in the native language. So when they try to learn how to speak, how to pronounce Japanese properly, is having more difficulties. So what do you think, you know, is it really difficult to pronounce in Japanese?
I think the hardest thing I've found in Japanese is strings of the vowels and consonants together, especially if two vowels are next to each other, like when an a goes into an e sound, kaeru, or something. Going from a to e, your mouth stays open, which I find really confusing. That, like, to keep it open, to keep making sounds without moving your tongue. English focuses a lot on the way your tongue flicks and moves around your mouth, but in Japanese, I find that when I've got good rhythm of speaking, actually my mouth really isn't moving that much.
And then at the same time, you know, how do you see Japanese people try to speak English, but it's always have the difficulties? For example, me, I think more than 10 years, I really didn't understand the differences between S and TH pronunciation and L and the L pronunciation. I think over more than 10 years, we even didn't learn the differences during the whole school, you know, junior high school and high school. No one really corrected me. No one even, you know, tried to exercise. So I think all Japanese people don't really know the differences, TH and then S, and then L and L differences, you know?
The main difference is definitely in the shape that your mouth makes. And I've been teaching during a pandemic for 2 years of the pandemic while wearing a mask the whole time. So I feel so bad for my students. I have to enunciate like crazy to let my students kind of know what's going on. Sometimes I just pull my mask down to say la, la, ba, ba. And it's like teeth touching the lips and other things. It's totally different. But until you see the shape a mouth is meant to make for some English characters and words and things, you don't understand the nuance of difference. And a lot of the hardest thing that my students have is connecting words with go to something, like make just one of something. Let's go to a pub.
Well, I didn't understand.
So if there are two sentences, let's go to a pub, one pub. Could I have picked a more British sentence? I don't know. Let's go to a pub, or let's go to pubs. Pubs.
In general.
So I say a pub, or pubs. They will nearly always say, let's go to pub. It's neither one or many. It kind of is one, but the sentence isn't finished because you missed or the pub for that one over there.
Yeah.
And then when they say the S, so it's pubs, izakayas, which is another funny thing. The funny thing is, like, an izakaya in Japanese, you would only say izakaya, like how many, how many izakayas. But in English, we've got to add an S to it, which just isn't even the Japanese way. There would only be izakaya, even if there's 1 or 5, right? And the other thing is the S sound at the end. So in Japanese, and in the Japanese palette of sounds, it would always become a su or a su or a zu. So it's never just a it would sound like a snake, like a if you're smiling and it's just a hissing sound, it's perfect. But if you make a zu, su or zu, it's just totally different. In my opinion, a really good end goal would be to imagine yourself on the phone to someone speaking your second language, and they don't know it's your second language.
Yeah, that's like, it's gonna be that.
Do you want to sound like a Japanese person that can speak English, or do you want to sound like they think English is your first language?
So English, I deeply really try to use, even I'm making mistake. And it really recently, I start understanding, oh, that's the way to use the something, or like a something, or you don't need a or the, only just the S you put. But you can't really teach today Japanese people and then try to understand everything. It's so difficult to understand because you need to use it, and you need to really see how the native people using, that's the emphasizing, so that's why that something, or even like American people say the something, even the something, it's like emphasizing or maybe cool way to say. So like so much experience you need. I think Japanese also the same, like a particle, so much you need experience, and then try to really understand, and you can even feel sounds natural.
It becomes a feeling. You start to know something just sounds wrong. And sometimes if I'm reciting the sentences that I've been practicing with Chihiro, if I make one little mistake, suddenly I can't remember the rest of the sentence because my mouth doesn't remember how to make it from a mistake. It only remembers how to make it from perfection, which is why when I'm speaking without thinking, I know it's going right because my mouth is doing the work for me. That sounds a bit confusing, but the moment I make a hiccup, the moment I make a mistake, the rest of the sentence already doesn't make enough sense.
That's why I want to get used to like move my mouth correctly, not my brain, because my brain and my mouth, it's not connecting. You understand? You need to get used to say good morning. Good morning is good morning. You can't even change it. It's this time I'm not using my brain. It's just you say it because you learn like that way so many times. You can't change it. I think that's the first fear when you start learning the language. Wow, how can I like manage all this pronunciation speed? I think it's whenever start learning the language, it's even difficult to imagine myself to actually potentially is it possible like to do it.
So I've tried to forget about the pain of wondering how, because it hurts and you suddenly like get filled with doubt and then you stop doing it, right? I've just started trusting in the process. Even when I'm not in the mood for studying, I just think, let's just make my mouth say a few of those sentences and it will just be of more benefit tomorrow, whatever happens, or a week later when I am in the mood again. So just trusting in the process rather than being all in your head, because being in your head is what stops you taking the plunge and just talking to someone anyway.
So but it's I know that it's because I'm business owner too, so I understand if you don't imagine, you don't reach it. So you have to imagine myself I'm speaking English somehow super fluently, and everybody watching me and wow, you speak like a native. I try to imagine. So then
you do like a visualization thing.
Yeah, because if you just think, the average is no one really even have a good pronunciation, one word, even we don't speak properly, like really properly. So that's why I need to imagine, it doesn't matter average or something, I'm gonna be like that. So first I try to kind of imagine myself is speaking fluently, first of all. And secondly, I wanted to feel some fluency, even like 1 second or 2 seconds. So that's why I actually start focusing on just short phrases. Is it possible to pronounce even like one phrase like a native? If I could do one phrase like a native, then maybe 2 phrases is possible and 3 phrases is possible. So that's why even I start focusing, okay, let's think. Good morning like a native, so that's why I start focusing on one step, sounds like a native. So I think many people try just to go textbook through everything, is they don't feel the fluency, zero, even I don't pronounce even like one phrase, broken. They kind of feel like impossible, like because nothing is like a native, sounds not native.
I feel so bad. So some of the lessons I teach in Ikaiwa that I'm part of, sometimes I have to teach Japanese people Japanese words incorrectly. So I say, I'm so sorry, I know you say karate, I know you say karaoke, but this karate and karaoke, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So I feel so bad. But if they want to sound English, they're going to have to say karate. And karaoke. Yeah. So not karaoke. Karaoke. Karate, karaoke. I feel so bad.
It's I know, like some people actually don't want to, how can I say, destroy the identity of the language,
Yeah.
How can I say, but that's happened quite many times. Like for example, American people, you have to say not California, you have to say California. It's just that no one can understand. I understand that's your identity of that English, you want to pronounce that California, but just people can't understand. There's no meaning to say so you have to say California.
So I know when I say Japanese city names now, even when I'm speaking in English, they are in Japanese. So it like I don't know if I can even do it now. I don't know if I can say the English version. So we say Kyoto, but Kyoto, or Tokyo, Tokyo. But in my English conversation, I say the Japanese way because I'm in Japan. It's what's happened to my language. So my language, my native language is becoming a pick and mix of all the places I've lived and all the things I've experienced. But I guess if I was back in the UK for a couple of weeks, I'd probably be back to Tokyo and Kyoto. But Kyoto. I can't remember the English pronunciation. But also when you pronounce different words in accordance to the language that you've learned, it's kind of a way, so it of course shares your personality, but it also shows your likes and dislikes. Like if you ask a British person to say the name of those nice chili peppers that go in Mexican food, the combination of words that will and won't involve a J or an H sound is just amazing. And I used to work in a supermarket, so I had to translate all kinds of what people want to ask for. It's the same thing, but they all say it so differently. So they say, where are the jalapenos? I say, oh, the jalapenos are here, the jalapenos are here. Like, what do you say? It just everything. It's when you pronounce things more like you've heard they're pronounced in the country they came from, I think it's your way of sharing with people. This is something I really love. So I don't say Ghibli, I say Ghibli, because I really love Ghibli movies. So I said Ghibli movie because I'm speaking to an English person, but maybe you can tell that I really love them because I say it in a Japanese way. So I think the best thing is just to appreciate where everyone gets their information from and know that that helps make up who they are as a person. I think anyone who looks down on others for the way that they say things or, you know, in the midpoint of learning, I just think to myself, they're just not my people, so I don't care. I just don't care.
So what do you think it's majority as a British, you know, try to behave like Japanese? Is it like a really challenging? Like, what do you think?
Chattiness with strangers is the main thing that's missing. There's a lot of things that, you know, when I think about how a British person or how a Japanese person would handle a customer or handle a conversation with a family member they hadn't met before or something, we would have the same level of politeness and respect. But I would say that trains are the biggest difference. If you get on public transport in the UK, the chances of someone you don't know talking to you or saying good morning or smiling at you or telling you your bag was cute, it's very high. The chances of that happening, and maybe you getting like sharing social media information or seeing the person again the following week and eventually building a friendship. So silence on Japanese trains is a bit confusing to me.
All right, so thank you so much, and it was a really great time and having a very interesting conversation. So lastly, because we talk about this pronunciation and muscle training, I think we should little bit, you know, like 5 minutes we can exercise each other. And you know, what do you have like some recommendations, some British pronunciation, and I should try to really learn or challenge something? Even like now you said water is very different. Water is Australian English, American, and it's British. It's so different, right? Like even the water.
I think so. And most people, because of the internet, when they think of how a British person says water, I say it with a strong T, which is one of the nicer parts of my accent. But there's charming other parts of my accent with strong ER and the harsh A, but water, I think I say nicely. But people think of London people saying water. So,
okay, well, that's so different. Water.
I say water. A glass of water, please. So glass with that A is from the southwest and the north of England. So my friends in the south of England, they say glass of water.
Glass. Is it different? Glass.
Yeah, I say glass.
Yeah,
my
glass.
mouth is more open.
Yeah.
Glass of water. They say glass of water.
Okay. Glass of water.
Glass of water.
Okay, yeah, I can hear the difference. Glass to glass to glass.
Yeah. And then water.
Water. So I'm gonna go to London soon. So
water.
Can I say water? So people can understand water.
Have you got water? Have you got water?
What did you say?
I said, have you got water?
Okay.
Have you got water?
Have you got water?
Perfect.
Really? Have you got water? Okay.
Exactly.
Have you got water? So I'm gonna a little bit practice. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Yeah, because have you got water, right? But then it's British is have you got water? So
no. That's not British. That's London.
Okay, London. Yeah, London.
But don't forget, London is super cosmopolitan. That's London, like people that were born and bred in London, and my grandma's from London and her grandma's from London. Have you got water? And then of course, just like in Japan, Tokyo has got the nicest of accents, right? Don't forget that most of our news reporters live in London. So a lot of them are asking for a glass of water too.
Okay, sure.
And in Bristol, they won't ask for water, they'll ask for cider. You know cider?
Cider is cider. I mean this like a sparkling water. No.
Cider in Japanese, cider means lemonade, right?
Yeah.
In the UK, if you order cider anywhere, it's alcohol. Please order cider. It's delicious.
What? Is it
And
alcohol
it's super
coming?
popular. It's alcohol. It's apple alcohol. I think in Japan you have it in Aomori.
Yeah.
Aomori, yeah. So it's really popular and super popular in Bristol.
Okay, thank you so much. And then I'm gonna say, have you got water?
Have you got water?
Water. Yeah.
But people are gonna hate me, I think. They're not gonna be happy with me teaching that. But my boyfriend learned what he thinks is perfect British English from YouTube, and he says bottle of water, which is a London way of saying a bottle of water, please.
Okay.
So it's very funny.
What did you say?
So it's bottle. But
Yeah,
bottle.
Bottle.
Perfect. Yeah, bottle of water.
Wow,
So,
it's so different.
It's charming. It's charming, but it's not proper. So I don't really know what I should be teaching you here.
So, specifically, London pronunciation doesn't have T, doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So,
And in Bristol, we don't say a TH. We'd put two F's instead. Like, I'm gonna have a bath. A bath.
What? This is gonna be so confusing.
Bath.
Wow, this is super confusing for me. Bath, right? Bath. But then you say bath. Like who? Bath.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kendall, thank you so much. So if you want to change your life with a Japanese speaking skill, seriously, join our master course, 2 months. So you can be ready to communicate with Japanese people after 2 months. So for example, you can maybe make Japanese friends, you can enter the Japanese company, you can try more conversation with Japanese people every day. So that's why your speaking skill grow up every day. So these 2 months, we're gonna make a perfect the foundation of your Japanese speaking skill. Then you can start speaking with Japanese people, real life or social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, or anywhere that you can actually have the chance to speak. So if you really want to change your life seriously with Japanese communication skill, speech skill, presentation skill, for the business, for the private, let's join the master course.